How is it going, guys? My name is OnesieBanette and welcome to my Pokemon Premier League draft analysis for Celta Deino. And yeah, if you don't know what the PPL is, it's a draft-based competitive Pokemon league where we have 12 members and we all have to take it in turns to pick Pokemon depending on how much they're worth. So for example, a Mega Lopunny, which is incredibly strong in OU, would be worth about £20 million. However, something like, let's say Pikachu, that's worth £2 million. So it's all about finding the right balance between money, because we have a budget of £100 million, and it's all about finding the right balance between really powerful stuff that you know can do a job for you, and lower tier stuff that you feel comfortable using in place of higher tier stuff. So before we get into this analysis, we have 12 members in the PPL, and I think that it's probably a good idea to go and check them out because they are incredible. They have some fantastic content on their channels, and they are some of the nicest people I've ever met. So in draft order, if I can actually get onto the spreadsheet a second, in draft order, first up we have, now I'm going to leave all their links down in the description by the way, we have Schroomraver of Paris Saint-Germain, Erasthamus of Miami Rotom Heat, Evelyn or H2O Drink It of Herdia Bremen, RhyQuinn of the Nido Queen's Park Rangers, RTK of the Portland Timbers, Necrostevo of the Eterna City Enders, Keyno of FC Eviton, Slyroh of Pittsburgh Pyro, Colton of the Osaka Eevees, me of the Celta Deino, Schady of Bayern Munich, and TheDonphanatic of Norwich Skitty. So make sure you go and check all those guys out and subscribe to them and give them all the love because they're awesome people. And also don't forget to check out the Pokemon Premier League official channel because there's going to be a load of really fun content on there, such as analysis, recaps, which I'm doing. I'm doing recaps with Ellie for Division 2, so that's really cool. We also have power rankings and all kinds of good stuff like that. So go and check them out because if you don't, you'll probably regret it. No, but yeah, there's been a lot of shake-up from last season. The winner of last season, just want to take the time out now to say congratulations, Fred. You had a fantastic team last season. You played very well with it. Congratulations on winning the league. So, yeah, unfortunately, Fred, who won it last time, has had to drop out, and quite a few other people have, such as Ellie has dropped out. Troy has dropped down to Division 2. So Troy's actually going to be like moderator of Division 2 along with Layson MC, who was actually part of Division 1 for the first few seasons, like for the first game. He was part of Division 1. And who else is in that's not there? We also have Keyno from FC Eviton and Necrostevo, who are new. And we also have Evelyn. So there's a few people that are new. There's a load of new faces here, and it's going to be really cool to get to know everyone. And make sure that you go and check everyone out. Everyone out. So yeah. And we've also added a second division, which I probably mentioned already. Basically, we have a second division, and there's going to be relegation and promotion between those two leagues. So if you finish 10th, 11th, or 12th, if you finish 11th or 12th, you're going down. But if you finish 10th, you have to play a playoff game with the person who finished 3rd in Division 2. So that's going to be really, really interesting because there's going to be a lot of high pressure on that. But that's not where we want to be. We're not going to be there. We're not going to be at the bottom there. We're going to be stuck up at the top because last season we finished 5th. Now, that's not too bad, but if we're basing this on football, then that basically means we just finished outside of the Champions League. We want to be breaking the top 4. We want to be at number 1. We want to win this thing. I think we can win this thing because I am very happy with the draft. Now, let's get into it, shall we? And I'm just saying this is a third re-recording because I actually did the analysis before, but then I went and made my GFX for this, and I had to redo it. So let's just do this, right? Pick number 1. Now, following normal PPL trends, we usually have some really overpowered stuff go in the first few rounds. So you want to get your really expensive, really powerful, really popular Pokemon out as soon as possible. You want to get them done as quickly as you can, but you can't really go too crazy. I went crazy. To be fair, I didn't think I was ever going to get this Pokemon. I was 10th in the draft order, and we have a snake draft, so it goes I have to wait like until 10 people have drafted, and then I draft, but then I only have to wait 2 afterwards because we only have 12 people. So it's like it comes back to me after a few things. So it's quite interesting. But I was 10th in the draft. I did not think I was ever going to get this mega because a lot of people didn't go for a mega. I wanted this thing. I wanted this Pokemon really badly, and I'm very happy that I managed to get it. So I waited 10 turns, and I wasn't actually in at the time. I was out at the time of drafting. I was at work, and I had no idea that my picks had even gone through. So I've been at work doing my thing, and I've come home, and I found out because I gave all my picks to Under the Radar YouTube, Kelly, and he gave them to the draft for me. So I came home and found out that my number 1 pick, my number 1 choice for the number 1 pick was Mega Altaria. Now, you don't understand how awesome that is. Mega Altaria is an incredible Pokemon with some incredible like stats and sets you can run with it. Mega Altaria has access to moves such as Cotton Guard, Dragon Dance, Return, and the ability Pixelate makes that incredibly powerful. Earthquake, Fire Blast, Hyper Voice, all kinds of awesome stuff. And yeah, basically that is so cool because that means that Mega Altaria is a threat. It rips through teams. It makes people's lives hell. It also has stuff like Heal Bell. I mean, that's so awesome. But basically, we all know the power that is Mega Altaria. Mega Altaria is incredible. Really, really incredible. But it's also very expensive. That cost me £20 million. So now I only have 80 million left. So it's really interesting because I need to balance it now. I need to balance myself. And I need to pick things that aren't quite as expensive, but Mega Altaria can rip through teams, that's all I'm saying. Now, to complement Mega Altaria, I needed something that could break down Steel types. And I was looking to see what kind of wall breakers there were. Because I had a draft plan, I knew that I wanted my first 2 picks. If I could get my first 2 picks, the rest would be able to fall into place. So, my second pick, I went for Nidoking. Now, I was so happy with that one because I'd never ever thought I'd be able to get those 2 Pokemon. Because Nidoking is an absolute threat. Nidoking is... I'm going to make a statement here. I think it's the best wall breaker in a draft format. It is the best wall breaking Pokemon in a draft format because you cannot prepare... Well, you cannot not prepare for a Nidoking. You have to keep an eye on it. If you not keep an eye on it, it will surprise you, it will get a kill, and it will wreck you. It will hit you so hard. There are very few Pokemon that can actually stand up to a hit from this thing. Very few indeed. So, I thought it was a fantastic choice to get it. So, I got it, and look at the coverage this thing gets. It gets stuff like Ice Beam. It gets stuff like Thunderbolt. It gets stuff like Earth Power, Sludge Wave. I think it gets Focus Blast. I'm not sure if it gets Fire Blast, but I think it gets some awesome moves. And then if you look on the physical side, which it actually has a higher physical attack than special, it gets stuff like Earthquake, Poison Jab, Stone Edge, Rock Slide, Brick Break, and that's like complete. Well, Brick Break not particularly that great, but I mean it still has a really good physical move pool as well as special. So you know that if you don't prepare for this thing, it's going to hit you really hard. So that's a thing. That's a thing that happened. I got Nidoking and it was really awesome. So, yeah. However, my problem last season, at least one of the problems I had, was I only had 1 Pokemon capable of removing hazards. And that Pokemon was Lumineon. Now, don't get me wrong, DDR is incredible. I love Lumineon. But it's not that viable in a draft format. It did a fantastic job for me last season. It took hits it should never have taken. It took flare blitzes from Darmanitans and all kinds of jazz. But at the end of the day, it should never have had to take those hits. It's a great Pokemon with Defog and U-Turn and Scald and Toxic and Tailwind and all those amazing moves. But it's still not that, it's not the greatest. So I wanted to make sure I did not make the mistake I made last time and only have Lumineon as my defogger. So I went with Skarmory. And Skarmory, believe it or not, was actually really expensive. I didn't think it would cost as much as it did, and when I realised that I'd taken a massive hit at that point, I was kind of like, oh, damn it. But I'm very happy I got this thing because it's not just... There's a lot more you can do with Skarmory than meets the eye. You look at Skarmory, you think it's going to have Whirlwind, it's going to have Stealth Rock, or Spikes, or Roost, or Brave Bird, or any of those crap. It also has stuff like Iron Head, and Swords Dance, and Agility, and moves like that. It actually has a really good move pool, and there's a lot you can do with it. There is a lot you can do with Skarmory. Skarmory is a fantastic Pokemon. I am very, very happy I was able to get it. However, the only drawback I have with Skarmory is it kind of limits itself at the same time, because you know that it's not exactly going to want to really run stuff like Swords Dance Agility, but it's there if you need it to. And it's kind of hampered. It's not the greatest on the special side. It can't take hits, and it's still kind of worn down by fighting type hits, but at the end of the day, it gives great synergy with the other two. Any kind of steel or poison moves that are going towards Mega Altaria, Skarmory handles them. Skarmory handles them, no problem. Nidoking, any kind of water... Wait, what was I saying about Nidoking? I don't know. Basically, Nidoking, any kind of earthquakes that want to go his way, Skarmory can switch into them. So they give decent synergy with each other. So, right there, I've already got... Oh my god, what's going on? I've already got my Steel Dragon Fairy core. Now, they are great cores. Steel Dragon Fairy are great cores, but you can't rely on them. You really cannot rely on them. So, I needed to get another core alongside it. I needed to get something that could really, really put some kind of utility role in. And I had 3 Pokemon from the lower tiers that I really wanted to get. 3 Pokemon from the lower tiers. And the way I think about it is if you can get lower tier stuff early on, that limits everyone else, because there are a lot of lower tier stuff that can compete with higher tier Pokemon. For example, stuff like Seismitoad. Seismitoad can do a great job against higher tier Pokemon because it has the ability to take them out, and that's who I picked. I picked Seismitoad for my 4th pick. Now the reason I picked Seismitoad is because it has an incredible move pool and some really, really good stats. Now, you think of this thing, it gets stuff like Ice Punch, Hydro Pump, Earth Power, Earthquake, all kinds of water falling shenanigans, Stealth Rock, Toxic, Sludge Wave. It has an incredible move pool, and it hits really hard. This thing is really, really solid. Really solid. I really love using it. I used it in the MPT one time and got 3 kills with it. Killed a Xatu, I think I killed an Entei, and I killed something else. I think it was a Gliscor. But the thing is, it does so well. I love Seismitoad. I didn't before, but ever since I've used it myself, I understand how great this thing can be. And it has decent synergy, because any fire-type moves that want to go towards Seismitoad... No, not Seismitoad, Skarmory. Any fire-types that want to go towards Skarmory, Seismitoad and Mega Altaria have them covered. Seismitoad and Mega Altaria have them covered. However, at the moment, I have a little bit of a weakness towards Ice. So my next 3 picks were kind of orientated around dealing with that. And Ice is a very... I had that problem last season. I was weak to Ice a lot, because I had 3 dragons last season, so that wasn't exactly the greatest thing to have. But my 4th pick, no, not 4th, 5th. My 5th pick was Magmortar. Now the reason I had Magmortar in here was because, like I said, it's one of the Pokemon that can stand up to higher tier Pokemon. Because it has a really high base stat total, has some really good moves, and it can just hit really hard, to be honest. Its Fire Blast is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I also, once I picked Magmortar, I had an idea for something. If you look at its move pool, it gets stuff like Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, Earthquake. It has priority in Mach Punch, Cross Chop, Fire Blast, Overheat, Hidden Power Grass is a thing. It has, and then there's one move I looked at, Belch. I love that move. I think if I'm ever coming up against a team with a really solid fairy that can't really touch him, I think I might try and run Substitute, Salak, substitute Pitaya Berry, Flame Charge, Belch with Fire Blast as the other move. Because I think that would be able to put in so much work against really solid teams. If you could Flame Charge against something, substitute, and then just sub down to your Pitaya Berry, and then hit them with either Fire Blast or a Belch, then you're in a really good position. A really good position. You can do a lot of damage with that. It's gonna decimate fairies. Absolutely decimate them. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that thing works out. However, my team is still not looking the greatest. I have one thing that can defog, one thing that can stealth rock. I mean, the next pick, I know it can't really defog. I understand this. However, I wanted Mesprit. But 2 turns before, it got taken by Colton. I got sniped because I was literally going to pick it, but I couldn't do it. So I thought, crap, Mesprit's gone. Who else do I pick? Who else is that type of bulky psychic that can actually hit hard? And I thought, well, there's not a lot of them that are also fast. So I thought I'd switch it up slightly. I saw last season how Shroomraver performed really, really well with the Uxie. And I picked Uxie. So, yeah. I mean, Uxie has a lot of potential. It kind of works really well with the rest of the team as well. Psychic hits that are going towards Nidoking go towards Uxie and Skarmory now. And Dark type hits and knockoffs that are going to be flying Uxie's way, Mega Altaria can switch into, resisting them. And that's going to be really interesting to use. And the bug type moves as well. Now, there's still something that's not really right here. Uxie can learn Stealth Rock, I understand this. It can learn Trick, I understand this. It can learn Calm Mind, I understand this. But I'm still not content with the team as it is. So, I was torn at the moment. I was really torn at the moment. I wanted to go for some higher tier stuff. I wanted to, but I needed to make sure that I left a couple of higher tier picks as late as I could. Because there are Pokemon out there in this format, such as, let me just have a look, Mega Lopunny for Necrostevo, and what else is there? What else was I looking at earlier? There are Pokemon out there such as, yeah, Mega Lopunny and Dragonite, and I think Salamence was taken, and there's all kinds of stuff that I need to be really careful of. And I'm thinking that I wanted to make sure I left that as, left my higher tier pick as late as possible, so that I knew what everyone else was doing, so I could pick higher tier Pokemon that could kind of counter that, if that makes sense. See, if I know more of people's teams, if I can see more of people's teams, I can counter against them a lot easier. So, there was a Pokemon that I really should have left until pick 11 to have. And now that I think about it, I would swap it out for one other Pokemon, but I'm happy that I have the chance to show this Pokemon off. It's one of my favourite Rock-type Pokemon, alongside Rampardos, because I love Rampardos, but I think picking Bastiodon here was not the greatest decision in the world. But I'm happy I got it, because it has access to a load of really cool moves, such as Metal Burst. It has Metal Burst, Stealth Rock, it can get Toxic and Roar and Taunt and all of that good stuff. And it still has Stab Stone Edge and Stab Iron Head if I want to run attacking moves. If I wanted to, I could run Weakness Policy, Rock Polish, Sturdy Bastiodon. And that's a thought that really gets me excited, and not in that way. Don't take it that way. But that is a thought that really makes me interested to do some stuff, if you know what I mean. Like, I think that Bastiodon is a very good lead. It's a very good lead because it can just put Stealth Rocks up off the bat and Toxic something or Taunt something, and I really, really am looking forward to seeing how I can use this thing and if I can use this thing. However, what that meant was I was able to then see, because I picked Bastiodon at round, was that round 7? It was either 7, yeah, I think it was 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, it's round 7. I was able to see, after that Kyurem and Hitmonchan had gone, just after, and before that, in that round, we had stuff like Noivern, Frostless, Manectric, Mega Blastoise, Mienshao, Tyrantrum. All of those things are kind of threats, and I realised that I love Wall Breakers. I wanted to pick another Wall Breaker, and I was having a chat with TheDonphanatic a while ago about Wall Breakers and draft plans and all of that good stuff. And there was one Pokemon that we both saw that we really were interested in, and that was Staraptor. Now, if you look at Staraptor, it hits so freaking hard. Name 3 Pokemon that can switch in to a Staraptor's Reckless Brave Bird. I can name 3. Steelix, which gets really hurt by close combat. Mega Aggron, which gets really hurt by close combat. Not really hurt, but kind of hurt. And the only other one I could even think of at that point was Mega... I think it was... what was it? What was the other Pokemon I thought of? Because there were not a lot of them. I thought Doublade. Doublade was the only other one that could switch into a Staraptor. Doublade is the only thing in the format that can reliably switch into Staraptor 100% of the time, and even then, it's taking a lot of damage from Brave Bird. It's going to be taking around 30 to 40%, and considering Doublade has 150 base defense with an Eviolite most of the time, that is incredible damage. Everything else is going to take a hell of a hit from that. Reckless Brave Bird with close combat, double edge, and U-turn to complement out is going to destroy souls. I mean, I am so looking forward to running a team of Nidoking, Staraptor, Mega Altaria, Bastiodon, Magmortar, and the other Pokemon that I pick later on, which I'll keep a secret for now, but the other Pokemon I pick later on. However, my next pick's a little bit controversial, because a lot of people do not like this Pokemon in draft format, but if you know me, I love OnesieBanette. I love OnesieBanette, design-wise, stat-wise, ability-wise, competitive use-wise, all of that jazz and matazz. I love it. But the reason I love it is because OnesieBanette is a type of Pokemon you can stick on a team if you feel like you're a little uncomfortable. OnesieBanette is a type of Pokemon you can switch it, like you can stick on any team, because if, like, for example, if things go wrong, you can switch in OnesieBanette. For example, you let the opponent switch, like, set up to +4 or something, and you can switch in OnesieBanette, Destiny Bond, threaten it out, and all that jazz. OnesieBanette is what you switch into if something goes wrong. There's another Pokemon that does that job too, and that Pokemon's name is Ditto. However, Ditto is kind of more of a high risk, high reward sort of situation, because there's not a lot of times that you see Ditto, if you let something set up on it, it will. It's like the insurance policy. It's like Banette. Ditto can sweep the opponent using their stats. OnesieBanette couldn't do that. OnesieBanette simply stops it and says, right, you made a mistake, start again. Ditto can say, okay, I'm turning this situation right around. We're done. You're not dealing with that, and I'm going to take your stat boosts, and I'm going to kill you with them. Boom, Kalei, have a thing. Yeah, basically, Ditto messes with the opponent's head, because it makes them worried that they can they think they can't set up. For example, if you go to set up to +6 on my Bastiodon, then I will let you take out my Bastiodon after I've set up Stealth Rocks. I may possibly roar you out in the process, and that might, like, really scare you anyway, but I will let you set up to +6. And then I will switch in my Ditto. And then I will give my Ditto a Choice Scarf. And then I will outspeed you with your own Pokemon that's now at +6. And then I will kill you. No, but basically Ditto is the kind of Pokemon that you run on the team alongside, like, really offensive Pokemon. so you can weaken them enough to get them to a point where you can switch in a Choice Scarf Ditto on their offensive threat and then just sweep the rest of their team. And I really enjoy using Ditto in this format. Never used it myself, but I love it when people do, because it's just, you know what it's going to do, and if it's there, then I can only use 5 Pokemon. But I feel like it's strong enough, the rest of the team, to support that. However, I keep saying however, however, in another universe, I looked at a lot of the things that my team could learn. I looked at a lot of them, and quite a few of them, surprisingly enough, could run Sunny Day. So, I had a look. There were a couple of Chlorophyll users left. However, there was one that I saw used in NU against me the other day that completely destroyed me. And that was a Life Orb Vileplume. With Chlorophyll, Sludge, I think it was Sludge Wave, Giga Drain, Weather Ball, and either Sleep Powder or Hidden Power Fire. I think it was, I'm not sure, I genuinely don't remember, but that thing absolutely destroyed me. I got completely wrecked by that and Victory Bell in an NU team, and I really was impressed. So, I thought, screw it. Vileplume goes in, because Vileplume, for a round 10 pick, is quite solid. The things this thing learns, it gets stuff like Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Toxic. I think it gets Toxic Spikes, I'm not sure. But it has the ability Effect Spore alongside Chlorophyll. So if I want, I can run Offensive Vileplume with Magmortar in the back. And I can also run Effect Spore defensive if I wanted. There are a lot of fighting types running around. And if I want, I can switch in my Vileplume, hoping that they hit me with a fighting type move and get done with an Effect Spore. Effect Spore is so really useful. And it gives me a way to deal with fighting types a bit better, because I have Mega Rotaria, I have Nidoking, but none of those two really want to be taking hits. Vileplume doesn't mind, because it has Synthesis to also heal off the damage, it can use Leech Seed, it can use all kinds of crap. But yeah, actually, to be fair, I do have Uxie, so I'm kind of okay with that. But Vileplume kind of does compound the ice weakness I have. So for my final pick, I decided I needed something that could deal with ice types. Something that could switch in on any kind of ice move. So what do you think I went for, guys? I went for Hariyama for 7 million. Hariyama. And the reason I went for Hariyama is because of the ability Thick Fat. Now, Thick Fat, if you probably know what it does, it basically halves the damage of ice and fire moves. So, I thought that was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Because Hariyama is such a powerful Pokemon. With a Choice Band and close combat and knockoff and all of that good stuff, it's just brilliant. And it also has Guts if I don't need it to deal with ice types. For example, I'm running Magmortar and Bastiodon on the same team, and I don't need it to have ice resistance. I can run Iron Fist or Guts. It's brilliant. The moves this thing gets: close combat, knockoff, all the elemental punches, fake out, bullet punch, knockoff, all of that good stuff. I love it. I love it. And it's completely rounded out the team. So let's have an overview of the team at the moment. We have 3 Stealth Rock users. Bastiodon, Uxie, Seismitoad, possibly Nidoking if needed. And we have a setup sweeper, Mega Rotaria. We have 3 Wall Breakers, Nidoking, Hariyama, and who was the other one I chose? Nidoking, Hariyama, and Staraptor. There we go, of course. I'm looking at it right now and I'm just like, what am I on about? We have some really good lower tier picks in Magmortar, Seismitoad, Vileplume, Hariyama. We have an interesting wild card in Bastiodon. We have a Defogger in Skarmory. And we also have a Cleric in Mega Rotaria. We have got a lot into this. There's probably one thing else that would have made my team like completely satisfied, and that would have been a bulky water type. Or a Ghost Resist. Possibly something along the lines of, well, if there was anything better than Bibarel, then maybe. No. Probably something like a Crawdaunt, or, what else is water and resists Ghost? I can't think right now, but something along those lines. Anything like that would have rounded out the team. I was really considering swapping Bastiodon for Dugong, because Dugong can Perish Trap, and it does it really well. Really well. All you gotta do is Whirlpool, Protect, Perish Song, and then you get Aqua Jet or Ice Shard. And it does the job so well. I really wanted to pick it, to be honest. I really wanted to pick it, but we'll see. We'll see in the transfer windows. I may drop someone or trade something to someone, but at the moment I have no money, so I can't really drop anyone at the moment. But yeah, that's it, guys. Make sure that's pretty much it for my analysis. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this, because I'm very hungry right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and make sure you check back here for my week 1 match next week on the 27th. It doesn't matter, because it's coming in about 3 or 4 days, and it's going to be awesome. I'm playing Evelyn first game, Herdia Bremen. She's never been in a draft format before, but she's good. I've heard very, very good things. She's a good player, but I intend to show her that I'm not in this league to mess around. I'm feeling really good right now. I also feel like this is probably the first league that I can. The first time my team matches up better against Schady than it usually does. But hey, anyway, make sure you check back here, guys. Check back for week 1, my week 1 match. I have some awesome GFX for it, done by, well, yeah, done by people. I have some awesome GFX for it, and I really hope that this season is going to be epic. That sounded so cheesy, but it's going to be so cool. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I'm looking forward to the next season. If you have, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to enjoy the rest of your life. So, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.